What is love? Pyar, dosti. And then suddenly one day they decided that all of them together did not want to talk to me anymore. So now that I feel like I have some really, really good friends and I'm surrounded by like people that I love, I thought we can talk about a few factors that are really important for me for a good friendship. Of course, there are so many factors that constitute a good friendship, but I thought I'll talk about my personal list and I'd love to know if you resonate with that. So, one of the top things, the top number one things for any relationship in my life, friendship, romantic, family, work, whatever, it is honesty. Being honest with you, not telling lies. People who justify telling lies, immediately no friendship. If somebody is telling lies, no chance of being my friend. Also, we need to understand that honesty does not equal being rude or being crass in the way you're saying something. There are some people who will just be blunt as hell and like be really rude, and then they're like, but I'm just being honest. You just don't like my honesty. No, we just don't like your tone and your attitude and the way that you're so rude. You can be honest and you can be gentle. You can be soft with it. You can be kind. You can really approach an honest conversation with sensitivity. And that is another quality that's very important to me. I don't want somebody coming and using foul language, abusing me. I know that there are a lot of friends that enjoy that kind of banter where you're like crass with each other, really poking on your insecurities, and that's sort of like a joke and it brings you all together. But I don't think that's something that I understand. Things like body image, things like skin color, appearance, they are out of bounds. If you're gonna make fun of like, oh, you call someone fatty, you call someone you're such a blackie, all of these things, I feel like I'm personally not okay with it and I don't think it's funny. It's not like you can't make fun of anything, of course. Now, if I make like some art and I think that's kind of like silly and whatever, and like everyone's laughing at it, I'm not gonna feel so hurt by that because I don't think I'm like attached to it in that way. You're like pulling each other's leg, but you also need to be mindful about like, is my friend also finding it funny, or is this something that they personally struggle with that they're just trying to laugh at to sort of like go with the flow. I would like for us to like be able to share our emotions, to share our feelings without it being like, whoa, like bro, like why are you getting so senti? You're really like getting into it. You're like too up in your field. I guess because that's the kind of person I am. I love talking about feelings and like how are you dealing with this certain thing. Even when it comes to experiences, like I think my go-to question is always to ask someone how they felt about it, how it made them feel. Those are really fulfilling conversations for me in friendships. And I think next would be being optimistic. I think a complete pessimist, like a person who is just a downer, who complains about their life all the time, who's always talking about, I have this problem, I can't do this. Like they constantly make reasons for why nothing works out in their life and they're just hopeless all the time.
And they're like, you won't understand. My life just sucks. Nobody's gonna understand me because like everything sucks for me.
That energy I feel is very dangerous to be around because like you are the sum of the people that you're surrounded by, right? Yes, of course, you can talk about your struggle. We need spaces to talk about the things that we struggle with. But there's like a time when that becomes repetitive and redundant and just sort of like, you're not trying to do anything to get yourself out of a situation. And I think being an optimist, being a self motivated person who's excited about doing things, and I don't care. It could be like things that I'm not interested in at all. Like, I'm not a very outdoorsy girl. Like, I don't want to climb walls or like hills and run and cycle. If that's something that you're into and you're motivated by that and you're excited to do that, I will still love listening to your experiences. People who do things, who know themselves, who know what they enjoy, and they make sure that they do those things, like that is very attractive. I think that is like the kind of friend that you want. I haven't made like a concrete list of all of the things. Like I don't have notes and I haven't written it down anywhere. But I think the last point that's coming to mind for me is having your back, someone who has your back, who will stand up for you, who will not listen to someone else talk shit about you. Like, if they are not loyal, then are they really your friend? If your friend comes up to you and is like, you know what she was saying about you?
She said this and this and this and this.
Like, why did this person feel comfortable saying those things to you? And what did you say? Like, did you stand up for me? Did you say something to them and say, don't speak about my friend like that? I don't appreciate it. Or even if you agree with that person, are you going to your friend and also being honest about it that, like,
You have problematic behavior, babe. Maybe look into it. Maybe take care of yourself.
lastly, I think someone that you just have a good time around. Like, my life sucks, nothing works out for me. No, draining as hell. You need to think about, like, how do I feel being around this person? Also, are you like tiptoeing a lot? Do you feel like they're explosive? You can't say anything to them. You can't really share your honest thought, like wait for the right moment. I'll only talk about these topics around them because they're just like a ticking time bomb. You just can't seem to be yourself and like say what you want to say. Like, you can't express yourself freely. That's also when you'll feel drained and you'll feel tired after that interaction. So, being able to be free yourself, someone that accepts you for who you are. And when I say accepts you for the way that you are, I don't mean like they accept and normalize bad behavior. You know, I don't think that is acceptance. That is non-confrontation, and we don't want that in the friendship. We want acceptance, as in, like, regardless of your background, your family situation, your appearance, your social status. You know, if they like you and if they accept you for all of these things, then they're a true friend. And to look at the other side of things, speaking about like friendship red flags, I think someone who's too gossipy, who always wants to know what's up with the other person, who wants to talk about other people. Of course, gossip is fun. I'm not saying don't ever gossip. It's kind of social chit chat, you know, and then you leave it at that. That's fine. But are you really like analyzing this person and like trash talking them, attacking their character, and like really saying harsh things about them? That's not okay. And I know I keep saying like last thing, but like respecting your boundaries is a very important thing. If you don't feel like hanging out, or if you don't feel like talking to a friend at some point, you should be able to be like, I just really need some space to myself for a while, or I just don't feel like talking about this thing that I'm going through at the moment, but when I'm ready, I'll talk to you about it. And you know, to have friends who respect that, they don't push constantly and they're like, no, tell me, I'm your best friend, you have to tell me everything immediately. And if someone shows up at your house randomly, I feel like that's a big red flag for me. I know a lot of people have like a very informal relationship with their friends where they just like show up at each other's doors and they're like, I'm here to hang out, and then they can spend the whole day together. But I feel like I'd like to be informed before somebody comes to my house. Don't just show up. Yeah, so I guess that's about it. That's all is coming to mind. I think we've covered some of the things I look for when it comes to friendships, like some things that are really important to me, and a few red flags as well. I would love to know if you resonate with any of my thoughts, and if you have any ones that I missed and you know you would add to your list, then please let me know in the comments below. Share with me your friendship experiences. What have friendships been like for you growing up? Adult friendships, like, do you have a hard time making friends these days? So yeah, I hope you liked watching this video. I really enjoy talking about this topic, and I'm excited to know what you want me to talk about in my next video. If you enjoyed watching this video, then like, share and subscribe, and you can also follow me on Instagram.